When Rolling Stone magazine said Prince couldn't compete with modern artists, 40 million people were waiting to see his response. What they got? The most impossible live performance in MTV history. And Prince didn't say a single word while delivering that performance. He was on stage for just 12 minutes, touched an instrument, and rewrote the rules of the entire music industry. But the real shocker hadn't even begun yet. February 15th, 2004, 9:47 a.m., Rolling Stone magazine's Manhattan office, 48th floor. Editor-in-chief Marcus Sullivan was sipping his coffee while reading the final draft of the cover story. The headline was bold, even brazen, "The Death of Pop, Why Modern Artists Have Left the Old Legends Behind." The article went on for 8 pages, lavishing praise on the new stars of the 2000s. Justin Timberlake, Beyoncé, Eminem, the new generation. But on page 4, there was a paragraph that was Marcus's favorite part. Relics of the 80s like Prince can't keep up with the pace of modern music. His time is past. No one wants 10-minute guitar solos anymore. No one wears purple suits and worships symbols. In 2004, music is about easily consumable, radio-friendly 3-minute songs. Prince's complex, self-indulgent productions have no place in this world. Simply put, he can't compete. Do you think Prince really can't compete? Share your thoughts in the comments. Marcus leaned back and smiled. This line would spark a reaction. It would start a debate. It would get people talking about the magazine. Exactly what they wanted. His assistant Sarah walked in through the door. "Marcus, this Prince article, are you sure? Isn't it too harsh?" "Sarah," Marcus set his coffee down on the table. "Prince is 46 years old. His latest album barely sold 200,000 copies. The radio isn't playing him. MTV isn't showing his videos. He's history. We're just writing the facts." "But Prince, he's still Prince. He used to be Prince. Now he's just an aging rock star. The new generation has run him over. Prince can't sell as many albums in a year as Beyoncé does in a week." Sarah gave in. Marcus seemed to be right. The numbers didn't lie. The Billboard charts, radio play counts, MTV rotation. They all told the same story. Prince's time had passed. If you think the numbers don't always reflect the truth, click the subscribe button. February 16th, 2004. The magazine hit the stands. At newsstands, cafes, music stores, Beyoncé's dazzling photo on the cover. Inside, 8 pages that killed Prince. The music world exploded. Some supported it. Finally, someone told the truth. Some were furious. How dare Rolling Stone? But everyone was talking, just as Marcus had wanted. Prince, meanwhile, was quietly working on an album at Paisley Park in Minnesota. His assistant, Kyle, brought him the Rolling Stone magazine. "Prince, you have to see this." Prince opened to page 4. He read the paragraph. His expression didn't change. He simply closed the magazine and placed it on the table. He remained silent for exactly 30 seconds. Kyle held his breath. Was Prince angry? Was he hurt? No one could tell. Then Prince spoke. "Kyle, call MTV." "MTV? Why? Tell them I want to go on live TV." Kyle looked at him in astonishment. "Prince, you haven't performed on MTV in years. Why now?" Prince smiled, that enigmatic smile. "Because Rolling Stone told me I can't compete. I'll show them on MTV just how wrong they were. But Kyle, I have one condition." "What is it?" "It has to be live, unrecorded, unedited, real. And I want 12 minutes, uninterrupted." 12 minutes on MTV? Impossible. They're tied to commercial breaks. They have a schedule. "Tell them, Prince is going live. 12 minutes. If they accept, they'll make music history. If they don't, someone else will." Kyle reached for the phone. His hands were shaking. He didn't know what Prince's plan was, but he knew one thing. Prince never acted without a reason. February 17th, 2004, 2:15 p.m., MTV New York office. Program director Linda Chen was listening to Kyle on the phone. Her eyes widened. "Prince wants to go live? 12 minutes straight? Kyle, this is madness. Our format doesn't work that way." Kyle's voice was calm. "Linda, Prince has stayed away from MTV for the past 5 years. No award shows, no interviews, zero. Now he's handing you a golden opportunity on a silver platter, a live broadcast, 12 minutes, and no one knows what he'll do. This will go viral, Linda thought. The name Prince still carried weight. Yes, he'd been quiet in recent years, but a legend is still a legend. What song will he sing? I don't know. He didn't say. You don't know? Linda, we need a set list. We need a rehearsal. The cameras need to be set up. Prince said, give me 12 minutes, I'll handle it. The rest is a surprise. Linda hung up the phone. She ran to her boss. Dave, Prince wants to go on a live broadcast. 12 minutes, no details. Dave Miller, MTV's CEO, had been in the business for 30 years. Prince? Really? When? This Friday, February 25th, prime time. Dave thought it over. The risk was huge, but so was the potential. All right, do it, but tell Kyle, if Prince doesn't get off the stage in 12 minutes, we're cutting the live broadcast. Linda came back and called Kyle. All right, February 25th, 9 p.m., 12 minutes. But Prince needs to understand, this is a live broadcast, no mistakes allowed. Kyle smiled. Prince doesn't make mistakes, just be ready. February 20th, 2004. The news was everywhere. Prince is returning to MTV after 5 years. Live broadcast, no rehearsal. Speculation ran wild. What would he do? Which song? Why after the Rolling Stone article? Marcus Sullivan in the Rolling Stone office was anxious. He told Sarah, this is going to be a show. Prince is going to get his revenge. He's going to humiliate us. Maybe he'll prove we were wrong, Sarah said quietly. Marcus shot her a sharp look. Sarah, a 46-year-old man, can't prove anything by performing for 12 minutes on TV. Music doesn't work that way anymore. But there was a small doubt inside Marcus, a voice whispering, you shouldn't underestimate Prince. He silenced that voice. The numbers spoke, and the numbers said Prince was finished. February 25th, 2004, MTV Studios, Times Square, 8:47 p.m. The studio was ready for the live broadcast. The camera crews were in position. The technical crew was waiting. But there was a problem. There were no instruments on stage, just an empty black platform. Linda found Kyle in the hallway. Kyle, where's the stage? Where are the instruments? What's Prince going to do? The stage is ready. How is it ready? There's nothing there. This is exactly what Prince wanted, an empty stage. Linda panicked. 12 minutes of live broadcast, no instruments. This is suicide. Kyle stayed calm. Linda, trust Prince. He's got everything figured out. 8:55 p.m. 5 minutes until the live broadcast. MTV host Vanessa entered the studio, receiving instructions through her small earpiece. All right, everyone. We're going live in 5 minutes. An estimated 40 million viewers. Prince could come out at any moment. Be ready. The technical director was checking the cameras. Camera 1, 2, 3, ready, lights ready, sound check complete. But the stage is still empty. How's this going to work? Kyle just smiled. You'll find out in less than 5 minutes. Do you think this performance will be legendary or a letdown? Share your thoughts in the comments. 9 p.m. The red light came on. The live broadcast began. Vanessa looked at the camera and smiled. Good evening, MTV. Something very special is going to happen tonight. After a 5-year hiatus, the legendary Prince is joining our live broadcast. 12 minutes, non-stop, no rules. Ladies and gentlemen, Prince. The lights went out. The studio was plunged into darkness. 40 million viewers stared at the dark screens. 10 seconds of silence. Hearts raced, breaths were held. Then, on stage, a single purple spotlight came on, and Prince appeared. Purple suit, black shirt, natural afro hair, a microphone in his hand. Nothing else. No instruments, no dancers, no light show. Just Prince on the empty stage with a microphone. The cameras zoomed in. Prince's face was calm, but there was something in his eyes. Determination. 40 million people held their breath. Prince began to speak. His voice was low and calm. Rolling Stone magazine said I couldn't compete. They said modern music had left me behind. He paused. Maybe they're right. A stunned silence in the studio. Maybe 10-minute guitar solos don't work anymore. Maybe purple suits are out of style. Maybe I'm just a relic of the 80s. 40 million viewers were confused. Was Prince giving up? Then Prince smiled. "But tonight I'm going to show you something modern music has forgotten. Talent never goes out of style. Mastery doesn't age. And true art? True art never competes, because you don't compete with those who are already at the top." Prince set down the microphone. He brought a Fender Telecaster from backstage with his own hands. He strapped on the guitar and plugged it into the amp. The studio was still silent. 12 minutes, Prince looked at the camera. "I won't say a single word. I'll just play, and in the end, you'll decide. Can I still compete?" He played the first note, a single string, a bent, drawn-out, wailing note. The hairs on the backs of 40 million viewers' necks stood on end. Prince closed his eyes, and the most impossible performance in 12 minutes of music history began. For the first 2 minutes, Prince played nothing but the blues, slow, pain-filled, raw. Every note spoke. No microphones were needed. The guitar told the whole story. The technical crew in the MTV studio froze. The cameras captured Prince's face, his hands, his guitar. 40 million viewers were mesmerized. Linda, in the control room, watched with her mouth agape. "Is this real? Is it live? How can it be this perfect?" the technical director whispered. "This is talent, pure, raw talent." At the 3-minute mark, the tempo shifted. Prince switched to funk. The speed of his fingers was incredible. Slap technique, syncopation, rhythm changes. No words, just the guitar speaking. The crew in the studio was nodding along to the music. They couldn't help it. In the 5th minute, Prince returned to rock. Aggressive, hard-hitting Hendrix-style distortion, but controlled. Every note was intentional. Every bend was calculated. This wasn't a random guitar show. This was architecture. In homes, bars, dorm rooms, 40 million people were glued to their screens. Phone calls were put on hold. Dinner was forgotten. Just Prince, the guitar, and those 12 minutes. At the 7-minute mark, Prince shifted to jazz. Complex chords, improvised solos. He pushed the boundaries of musical theory. In the MTV Executives Lounge, Linda was crying. "Is this real? Is this live?" At the 9-minute mark, Prince played flamenco, Spanish influences, classical guitar techniques. Then he suddenly switched to reggae, then soul. Every style, every talent packed into 12 minutes. Marcus Sullivan was sitting at home in front of the screen. His hands were trembling. Sarah was beside him in tears. "Marcus, what have we done?" Marcus couldn't answer. He just watched, and with every note he felt more deeply that he had made a mistake. 11th minute. Prince entered the final segment. He set down his guitar and walked to the center of the stage. Just the microphone, just his voice, a cappella. He sang the final section of Purple Rain. But it was different. Slow, fragile, raw. His vocal control was flawless. Everyone in the studio was crying. The final 30 seconds. Prince returned to the guitar. He played a single note, the same note he'd started with. But this time, he held it for 30 seconds. Vibrato, bending, oscillation. It wept like a human voice. Then, he let it go slowly. The note hung in the air, then faded into silence. The 12 minutes were up. Prince set the guitar down, looked at the microphone. "Rolling Stone, here's your answer. Can I compete? What do you think?" Then he turned and walked off the stage. The lights went out. Vanessa was frozen. No one spoke for 10 seconds. Then the studio erupted. The technical crew was cheering. The camera operators were shouting. Linda was sobbing. The MTV switchboard crashed. 40 million viewers rushed to social media at the same time. Twitter didn't exist in 2004, but forums, blogs, everywhere were flooded with talk of Prince. The next morning, February 26th, 2004, the Rolling Stone office. Marcus was sitting at his computer. He was reading his emails, thousands of messages. They all said the same thing. "Apologize. You were wrong. Prince destroyed you." Sarah walked in. "Marcus, the boss wants to see you." Marcus walked into boss Jerry Coleman's office. Jerry had been at Rolling Stone for 35 years. His face was serious. "Marcus, did you watch Prince last night?" "I did. What do you think?" Marcus's throat tightened. "I was wrong." Jerry shook his head. It's not just you. We were all wrong, and now we're going to fix it. He pulled a file from his desk. The new cover story. Title, We Were Wrong, How Prince Saved Modern Music. You're writing it. Marcus was stunned. Me? You wrote it, you'll fix it. 5 pages. Honest, humble, truthful. It goes to print next week. Marcus returned to his office. He sat down at the computer. He typed the first sentence. I did Prince an injustice. We all did. March 2nd, 2004. Rolling Stone's new issue. On the cover, a photo from Prince's MTV performance. Marcus's article. 5 pages of apology and respect. We said Prince couldn't compete. In 12 minutes, he taught us that music isn't about competition. It's about mastery, about true talent. And we'd become so immersed in the speed and ease of modern music that we'd forgotten what art is. Prince reminded us. 1 guitar, 12 minutes, 40 million witnesses. A legend didn't need to prove himself, but he did anyway. Not to us, but to show respect for art. Prince read a copy of the article at Paisley Park. Kyle said, They apologized. You won. Prince smiled. This wasn't about winning, Kyle. It was about teaching, about reminding them what real music is. The MTV performance went viral. In 2004, viral didn't yet mean social media, but word of mouth spread, and the music world talked about that night. Prince wasn't new, but he'd proven he was still relevant. In 12 minutes, April 21st, 2016, Prince died at Paisley Park at the age of 57. Marcus Sullivan wrote an article for Rolling Stone that day. In 2004, I said Prince was unbeatable. 12 years later, he's no longer with us. But the performance he gave that night on MTV is still talked about. It's still watched. It's still teaching us. Because true art never dies. Only artists do. Prince taught me the greatest lesson. Never underestimate mastery. Because mastery can quietly, in 12 minutes, change the entire world. What about you? What happens when you underestimate someone because of their age, style, or era? Leave a comment below, because that night, Prince taught 40 million people a lesson. True mastery never goes out of style. It's just forgotten until someone reminds us. If you want to see more real Prince stories, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications.